Welcome everyone to the second webinar that we are running as part of the Prosper Africa AGOA and GSB eligibility customer support services. This is a program that we've been running since the beginning of the year. And these webinars are knowledge-based sessions that help people either looking to import into the US or export from Africa into the US, certain products from Africa. And it really is a deep dive into what you have to expect when wanting to do so. As per last time, our first webinar, we've got some great speakers that have joined us. We like to do these with some very practical experience. So we'll have someone that does something about that, then someone very knowledgeable in a certain space, with today being product classification and regulation focused and certification focused. We will have someone from talking about FDA from Registrar Corp. And then we'll have our two experts that have been helping on this project with us, Ruan King and Eckhart from Trelec, giving us some insight. Just for you, those of you, again, if you're coming from other parts and you need to be want to hear this in French or Portuguese, there's a way to do that. Go through and click there. And then choose your language. So I hope you get that from my funny slides that I've put up there for you. As mentioned, so I'll firstly go through the customer service program and outline what's happened with it so far and where we're up to, how that's developing. Then we will we'll have Audrey Williams from Kailicha Cookies giving us a presentation and real insight in how they've done some work into the US. Coley Anderson is joining us from the US, from Registrar Corp, who are the leading company registering people for FDA. So years of experience there, and Coley does a lot of work with making sure people understand how that is possible, and she's going to help us with that today. And then Ruan, as I mentioned, Ruan King from King Cargo has been helping us with a lot of logistics questions with our customer service support, and Eckhart Naumann from Trelec, people who run agoa.info website, which is information about AGOA, will join us a bit later to give us some information on making sure you know how to classify your products before you start sending them out. We will do a Q&A between each session. So as mentioned, put notes on the chat. Don't be shy. We love questions. They make it much more exciting. It changes the angle of the conversation as well. So please, don't hesitate to put some questions on there, and we'll ask them at the end. If we start not sure of certain ones, and then we'll ask you to come on, explain a little bit more, but we will try to handle those as best we can. But it's just, we will be taking questions from the chat and not from people turning on their cameras and asking those questions. This will last around about 2.5 hours. So everyone's sort of speaking between 30 minutes and an hour and a bit. With Coley Anderson will be our main speaker for today, so she'll be taking up most of that time. So to give you a little bit of insight before I start getting our great speakers to speak. So we are, CATALYZE are running the Prosper Africa Customer Services Program. This involves us speaking to a lot of different companies across Africa and giving them advice on utilizing AGOA and eligibility, and really doing the services behind that, and ensuring that we understand what the problem is, understand what the company is all about, and making sure that we are directing them into the right service providers as well that are helping us, the experts, the likes of Ruan and Trelec, Eckhart from Trelec, and making sure that we've got the right information going back to people. then it's clear and concise and sorts out the problem straight away. Besides this, we have been doing association training sessions. So this is our second one. There will be 4 of them, and we'll go through that. We are doing a lot of PR and marketing. So a big part of this is to get people to utilize AGOA. So we're really driving that. Don't miss out on the opportunity, and know that it is available to people, and it's something that we should be capitalizing on. And then I'll just run through a couple of other CATALYZE projects that we run. So yeah, as mentioned, our customer support service, a great team behind it. Very simple. There's a simple form to fill out that we just run through. Our team gets back to you and just assesses what you put in and make sure we understand what is needed. Please, this is a service for pretty much anyone looking to get product between Africa and the US. So we're looking at assisting buyers. We've so far assisted over 90 companies on this, but we've got lots more to do. And this is live and active until December this year. So please, there's a lot of questions with AGOA, a lot of requirements as well. So this is your time to utilize this. It's a free of charge service. Contact us and we will support you with that. But basically, we'll assess what you're doing. We'll have a look at it. If it's requiring us to set up an appointment with you and run through it, we'll do that. But there'll be a lot of back and forth and clarifying the issue. And at that stage, if it's something that needs to go to an expert, we'll send it off to them and we'll get some insight from them. And we'll come back to you on that, all the way to the point where we really can't sort it out. We will set up some kind of a Zoom call with an expert, and we'll run through that with you and make sure that we totally get to the bottom of your issue. Just on the experts, as mentioned, Ruan from King Cargo and Eckhard Naumann from Trellick are putting a lot of effort into this for us. It's both experts in their field. Ruan has been doing loads and getting South African products to international markets for many, many years across multiple sectors. So a lot of experience and hurdles that he's had to jump in the past. And obviously Eckhard has written, what the Bible on AGOA, which is agoa.info. Loads of information there, understands exactly what the complexities are of AGOA and what things you have to do to ensure they are covered. As mentioned, we are going through these practical webinars. So we did logistics and planning in May. Today is the product classification, regulation, and certification. But then we have 2 others. So encourage you to join those as well. One is industry requirements specific for utilizing AGOA. So we will go through that a little bit, industry more specific. So most likely we'll be looking at sort of the healthcare space as well, cosmetics. We've done quite a bit on food already. So we'll look into that space. And then lastly, we'll be looking at costings and quotings for export. So this is always very key. How do you price yourself when you go into a new market? It's super important to get right from the beginning. Other than that, yes, as mentioned, we are doing all kinds of PR. So there's an animated video that we're halfway through, just showing you how to navigate the program, as well as utilize agoa.info to effectively get information. We'll be editing a lot of these training session videos as well. So those will be a little bit more concise and easier to get to, but just note that all of these are recorded. You can watch the whole thing, and they are posted onto the event link afterwards. So keep an eye out for that if you need to go back on it. And then we are, as said, we are doing a lot of PR through social platforms, LinkedIn, Facebook, and just really pushing the use of AGOA over this time. Other than that, just a little bit of background on CATALYZE. We do take international pavilions to international shows all around the world. We are at the moment putting something together for Summer Fancy Food. We will have a booth on there on the on the USAID pavilion. We will be taking and supporting quite a few African brands at that event. But other than that, we also worked with Department of Agriculture's Department of Trade and Industry and helped them with pavilions and international shows, from everything from booking their space to building their stands to doing B2B meeting programs. Those have been really, really successful over the last 11 years. We are also doing a lot of B2B matchmaking and hosted buying programs. So B2B matchmaking, we do both virtually and in person, where we source the right buyers for exporters and put them into meetings with them. These are paid for programs that various associations pay us to run, and some individual companies as well. And yeah, very successful. Every time we do these programs, they end up in deals coming back. So they're quite exciting, but they are very different to international events. They go by the less is more ideal, that we, instead of saying we're going to introduce you to 1,000 people, we introduce you to 5 to 10 key people, but those 5 to 10 are based on who you, based on your profile and who you usually are working with. So then we go out into market and find a similar batch of buyers. So those are great. We also do hosted buying programs. We bring in buyers into South Africa, into various events around South Africa. These are also great, but we are open to doing those into other regions in Africa as well. So great programs to get people on the ground and actually seeing that, you know, there is infrastructure in Africa. It's a great market. There's opportunity. People are extremely friendly and really wanting to do business with the world. And the products are awesome that are coming from Africa. Amazing ingredients. So that's a really exciting programs. Then we do our own industry events as well. 2 of them. One is Africa Games Week, which is the largest event in Africa. Well, largest event in the world for African developers gathering. So we get about 250 African developers each year, and video games industry professionals attending those. And then we run Ocean Innovation Africa, which is the leading ocean economy event in Africa. So those shows have both been going 5 years, very well established, and really going from strength to strength at the moment. And then we were, for the last 3 years, been running Engage Trade Africa, where we bring the right people together from different parts of Africa and introduce them to South African and US buyers, really, and looking to give African regional exporters the opportunity to springboard into the South African market and get access to it, as well as South African and African exporters to get into contact with US buyers. So we ran that virtually in 2021 and 2022, and then in person earlier this year in March 2023, and great results from that. What's really exciting through Engage Trade Africa is we have found that a lot of South African companies are sometimes a bit skeptical about buying product and ingredients from Africa, and they've really opened their eyes up to this. A lot of product from Africa is going direct into Europe and into the US, and mainly because South African product companies have been a little bit hesitant from buying from Africa. But this has really opened up through this program. So very exciting, lovely to see lots more trade happening between Africa. Intra-Africa trade is key to the growth of Africa.